What's cracking, everybody? Today, I'm gonna give you the keys to blunt slides. This video is long overdue. I'm stoked to be bringing back the keys series. I haven't done a keys video in months. This was always on the agenda. The next keys video to come out was gonna be blunt slides. I hope I can cover it the best that I can today. It's a little gloomy. It rained last night. As you can see, this park is kind of covered in puddles. This is the box I plan on doing all the blunt slides on right here. I feel like it's nice and low, but not too low. It's kind of got that little propped up piece of wood under there, so it makes it like a decent height to do all the blunt slides on. We're just gonna go over the basic blunt slides. So we're gonna go over backside blunt slide, frontside blunt slide, frontside nose blunt, and backside nose blunt. And we're gonna cover them on ledges just because the flat bars here are not that good. I'm gonna talk about how they feel on flat bars compared to ledges and what the differences are as I'm going over them. You'll still get kind of the gist of it for on a flat bar. One of my favorite things about blunt slides is that you can go to kind of a shitty ledge or a ledge that doesn't grind the best, and you might be able to blunt slide it still. Like, depending on the surface of the ledge, blunt slides tend to work pretty good as long as you just wax it up a little bit. It can even be kind of rugged up top. Sometimes when it's rugged or like kind of more of a grainy concrete material, blunt slides will still work because there's actually less friction on your wheels. But obviously the material, it depends on the material of the ledge. Plastic is super easy to learn blunt slides on. It's probably the best thing to blunt slide. So if you got one of these skate parks near you, watch this video and then head to that skate park and try to learn your blunt slide. My least favorite blunt slide is probably gonna be the first one that we go over, which is backside blunt slide. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but I never do backside blunt slides. I don't think I've ever had one really in a video part or in general. I just don't do that trick. It's weird to me. It feels like I'm gonna sack. I don't even do them enough to sack really. But for some reason, every time I ride up backside and I go to do a blunt slide, I have this thing in my mind where it's like, I feel like my back foot is gonna slip off the tail. I don't know why that is, but I don't have confidence with backside blunt slides. I just never really do them. I can do them, and I'm gonna do them in this video and show you, but I kind of wish Shane was here or somebody who was pretty good at blunt slides because they could kind of cover the backside blunt for you. But other than that, I got all the other blunt slides that I'm gonna go over, and I feel pretty comfortable with most of them. They are harder than nose slides and tail slides, although they have a lot of similarities. When your wheels are on top of the ledge like that, there is just a lot more friction. It's a much harder trick to get to slide. You know, with a little bit of wax or the right pressure. A lot of this comes down to like the pressure on the tail, not really the tail, but the pressure on like within the pocket of like your concave almost right above your wheels can really help slide that blunt slide. Before we get too far into it though, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of the channel, Epic Water Filters. This is my custom water bottle. This is probably the best way that you guys can show support to me and to the channel is just by heading to epicwaterfilters.com, either using my code EPICASTA or just picking up one of these signature water bottles, and I think you'll be stoked on it, man. In the hot summer months, this thing has come in clutch. I just always carry it with me. I'm able to fill it up pretty much wherever I can, and it filters it to be perfectly clean drinking water. If you guys want to pick one up, head over to epicwaterfilters.com. They got all the details on the filters and everything you need to know about them. If you're curious at all or how they work or what they use in their filters, just go check out the website. If you want a different water bottle, you don't want this one, use my code EPICASTA, and that'll get you 20% off your order at epicwaterfilters.com, I believe. Appreciate you guys, and let's get some warm-ups in and then we'll get into it. All right, first up, backside blunt slides. My least favorite of all the blunt slides, but I'm gonna get it out of the way quick and try to cover it the best that I can and just how I go about this trick when I do it. One of the biggest things with blunt slides is just getting into it proper. So when learning blunt slides, what I did was in my parents' driveway, we had a long 4-stair. The bottom stair was just a super small curb. I would just ride straight at it and just jump into a blunt stall and try and get the feeling of like what that feels like and the balance there. And you could do that without even ollieing into it if you want to, but I feel like that kind of gives you a better actual feeling of the trick. But if you just stand in a blunt stall and kind of feel like if you put more pressure on your nose, if it's gonna slide out this way, or if you're too far up, it's gonna kind of go vertical on you. It just gives you a good gauge on like how much movement you have within the blunt slide. The next biggest thing with blunt slides is actually getting it to slide. I see so many people that just stick, and it's because there's so much friction on those wheels. It's like a power slide on the ground, you know? You really have to be kind of light-footed, but also have enough pressure in the right spot to force the board forward. What I mean by that is you don't want to be on this front. You don't want to be on the front wheel here. You kind of want to be more over the back wheel, almost like pinched like that. Almost slightly overturned almost. Like when you see people blunt slide or you watch Shane blunt slide in my videos, his pressure is all like that. You always see this wheel a little more exposed. It's never this way. If it's this way, you're probably gonna stick. So it's always more kind of on the heel and you're just leaned back, kind of pushing it along forward. You kind of want to be right in that pocket on the blunt slide, in my opinion. Again, another thing with blunt slide that kind of freaks me out is I always feel like I'm gonna ollie in and my back foot for some reason is gonna come off. I think it has something to do with me wanting to get over the ledge where I feel like my front foot's gonna take it too far. But I always have that in the back of my head, like, shit, I gotta make sure my back foot stays on the board. One thing that helps me is popping with my back foot slightly lower in the tail, so that if anything does happen, I get this little like extra room in the tail for any minor movements or something that might be exposing me. So I'll ride up at a slight angle, my foot kind of slightly in the tail more than usual, and then you have to clear over the ledge into the blunt. Once you get in, you don't want to have too much pressure on the front of your board or it will do the manual and kind of slide you out that way. You have to really think about kind of catching your tail on the side of the ledge and like keeping it in there. Your front foot is kind of just up and it goes side to side to kind of guide it to lock into the blunt slide rather than having a lot of weight on that front foot. It's all your weight and pressure is right over the back wheel of the truck in the pocket there. And that's what's holding you in. Your front foot is kind of just adjusting slightly to keep it in place. I always find that coming out to regular of blunt slide is easier, but sometimes I know that it helps people slide the blunt slide better. If they're thinking about going to fakie, they can kind of overturn and get more in the back seat as they want to pop out to fakie, and it kind of helps them slide through it. But yeah, let's get a blunt slide and I'll kind of show you what I mean. I'll try and film a bunch of different angles so you guys can watch it back slow-mo or see just where my upper body is, how my weight is positioned on the blunt slide, angles I take, foot setup, all that stuff. So let me try to get a blunt slide for you guys. I don't remember the last time I did a blunt slide. All right, let's get it. But coming out of a blunt's a little weird. You can kind of just turn out like a tail slide, but I would practice by, again, getting into the blunt stall or putting your board up here and trying to get the feeling of ollieing out of the blunt. So kind of like, you know, get that feeling down. When you do that at the end of the ledge, you kind of just get a nice little pop out. I hope that helped you guys. That was my best explanation I feel like that I could really give you guys, and I just hope to give you enough examples to where you can kind of take what I say and then apply that for yourself. Now we're gonna get into frontside blunt slides. Front blunts for me, for some reason, on flat bars are more difficult, and I'm more prone to stick on the flat bar, which I feel like that's really weird and not normal for most people. But I think the way that I ollie over the front blunt into the flat bar is like more abrupt. I just feel like I'm more prone to sticking for some reason on a flat bar, like whether it's circle or square. Front blunts on ledges are definitely more comfortable for me personally. So front blunts, I do a similar thing with my foot setup as I do with the back blunts. Kind of set my foot up, it's a little more in the tail, and I think that kind of lets me land in the right spot of the blunt slide, because when you blunt, you want to be in the concave like this, but instead of back blunt where you're kind of on your heel, front blunt, you're on your toe, because you want to be on the back side of the board when it's sliding. All the friction, more of the friction wants to be on this wheel than this wheel. If it's on the front wheel, you're more prone to stick. With this one, I feel like it can just be scarier for most people because you're kind of going backwards. Don't think about it like you're going backwards, because you shouldn't really be going backwards. So if you're doing a front blunt to fakie, maybe you'll be backwards at some point, but with a regular front blunt, you're either looking over your shoulder or you're looking like under your arm. You're not backwards, like your face is here. Like, I get it, if you stick, you're gonna be kind of like sideways a little bit, but don't think about it as being backwards, because that's when people, I think, turn even too much and you kind of expose yourself for like a slam at that point. Like, even when I do front blunts to fakie, I get in front blunt, make sure I'm in, and then I start to turn myself to fakie. Think about it more like a 5-0 or like a front salad, and just try and kick your hip over into that position where you can get into the front blunt, like your board turns more. Don't think about it as a back 180. I don't think about it as a back 180 at all. And then you just want to be on that toe side. If you're sticking, you want to slightly overturn and you kind of get more pressure on the toe and it slides through better. Let's try and get some front blunts. I'll probably do mostly front blunts to regs. I'll maybe throw 1 or 2 to fakie in there. And then something I didn't really tap into with the front blunts yet is just how you get out of the front blunt. You don't really have to pop out as much. Like, it might look like I'm kind of ollieing out. You don't really have to do that. You just have to have enough speed at the end of the ledge to carry you out. You don't need to necessarily pop out. It is easier to do that once you kind of learn it and get the hang of it, and you could be going slower and use that yank out to clear. It's more just having speed and momentum still at the end of the ledge. If you're like coming to a stop, it's gonna be a lot harder to get out of the blunt slide. And then coming out fakie, I think about it as a regular front blunt, but right as I get into it, I start to dip my shoulder down, my front shoulder, I kind of turn all the way around and dip it this way. That way now I'm sliding backwards, but I already know I'm in the front blunt. That's the thing, like that's where you don't wanna think you're getting into a front blunt, be completely backwards and exposed and then miss and get into like a front board or something like that and just eat it. So you wanna make sure you're in that front blunt first, and once you're in, you start to lay your shoulder down, and that's what kind of helps it slide around. And then you bring your shoulders back around this way to go to fakie. Fakie, you need to go a little bit faster than regular just because you have to clear your nose from the ledge too. You have to have enough speed to, when you turn out fakie, not to clip your nose on the end of the ledge. And now on to probably, I don't know if it's my favorite. I think it is my favorite. I like front nose blunts a lot. I feel like back nose blunts are my favorite, but they're harder than nose blunts for me. I like back nose blunts more. Like, I think the trick looks cooler and it's harder. As far as like just a cruising around trick to do, I love nose blunts. This is where things get a little weird. There is a few different ways to nose blunt. You can nose blunt where you are ollieing over the back of the ledge, then like straight on. To me, I don't want to say it's cheating or it's lame. I think it depends on the spot too. A nose blunt to me is supposed to be from the side, right? You ollie over into a nose blunt. Sometimes if the ledge is short, I'll do it like straight at the corner just so I can hit most of the ledge and not like dink it. But I think that when nose blunts are done just like right here and you kind of ollie, it's more of a nose slide to me. And I get that you're in a blunt slide, I know that, but it eliminates most of the difficulty in the trick, in my opinion, if you do it straight over. I think you can learn them that way. That way you get the feeling of the blunt slide. Once you're better at knowing the slide and how it feels to be locked in, then ollie in from the side and try and learn the correct way, in my opinion. I wanna say nose blunts from the side are just more respected. At least for me, when I see a nose blunt from the front, I know it isn't as hard as if they did it from the side. Basically is what I mean. It's kind of like just an easier version of a nose blunt. And that's fine, it's cool looking still, it's whatever, but it's not top tier nose blunt material is I guess what I mean. Anyway, how I like to go about this one, I come at a pretty decent angle for front nose blunts. I think that's because I want my tail to be able to clear over the ledge. That way I don't hit on the way up or something like that. I treat it a lot like front nose grinds, really. I'm just trying to pinch like right here, where it's not like I get all the way over and I lock into a nose blunt perfect. I kind of gradually get in where I like pinch just past nose grind, and then it kind of slides me into nose blunt. At least when I do them from the side, that's how it feels. And for me to be able to do that, I have a lot of my foot on the board, like across the middle of the board like this, and kind of low, to be honest, because I want to get a big ollie to be able to go up and over into the nose blunt. And then once you're in nose blunt, it is again on your heel side wheel is the one you're going to have most of the pressure over. This one can be more scary though. Learning them from the side, you got to be able to have lip slides proper, most likely frontside nose grinds, maybe even front nose grind 180s on the end of the ledge, just to know that you're really opening up those shoulders. A nose blunt it's a lot. It feels like a lot of work. It's a hard trick, in my opinion, from the side. As I ollie, I'm like dipping my shoulder down, and I feel like my body kind of creates that motion of digging into that nose blunt, pushing the nose down as I come around into it. So I'll try and give you an example of what I mean. All right, let's get a few. I'm gonna try and slide it as much as I can, but like on something this length, if I'm not coming over the front, like over the corner, how much time it takes for me to get up, over, and into nose blunt, I clear to the end of the ledge. It's just what happens so often. I'm gonna try and ollie a little earlier, but something this length from the side, it's just gonna be shorter. So for backside nose blunts, I feel like the weirdest thing for people is getting over the other side of the ledge, going backside, right? It just seems super awkward. Naturally backside, you wanna kind of turn this way, but you have to throw your weight over top. I don't really think about it as like turning backwards, going that way. I think about it straight up and straight down. Hear me out. This could be confusing, but the way I go about it is similar to nose blunts. I have my front foot very kind of low, like below the bolts, a lot of foot across the board so that I get a good big ollie. I don't take too much of an angle at this trick. Some people think you have to come real wide, you know, some people think you have to come at this big angle so that you can throw your weight over it. Maybe that works for some people, but the easiest way that I figured out, you kind of come at a slight angle as if you would, I don't know, back 50 or like back 5-0 or something, or back tail. But what you're gonna do is how I explained back tails that one time, where I kind of slightly carve towards the ledge as I pop. I also do that for back nose blunts. Then once that happens, I go straight up. Once I get this ollie up, I press immediately down into that corner. And that is kind of what pushes, I feel like, the board into that back nose blunt position, rather than trying to throw my weight over the backside of the ledge, if that makes sense. It's really hard to explain, and I hope, again, like that you guys can see it within the trick when I do it. Slight angle, I give a little carve towards it, and then I go up and straight down. And I kind of use that shoulder again to dive me into a nose blunt. I'm gonna show you guys a few. This will probably take longer because I don't think I'm gonna land every single one of them. I've been doing them for years and it's not a trick I land every try, it's just not. But I'm only gonna put the makes in there. I'm not gonna make you guys sit through all that. And I'm kind of nervous about that. I've been doing the phone on the box angle, that close fisheye looking angle, that I might take out my phone with back nose blunts. So we'll see about that one. All right, let's get a couple back nose blunts for you guys, and I hope you can see what I mean within there. God, please don't take out my phone. My phone survived, man. I got lucky. I did the one where my phone was on the corner. I landed the back nose blunt first try. If I stuck or slipped out at all, my phone was toasted. So back nose blunts is definitely the most difficult. Even right there, I probably missed like a good 10 to 12 back nose blunts trying to get all those different angles. Definitely not a trick that I do every single time. I like the trick and I do it probably every day. I do find them slightly easier on flat bars. The lock-in, there's like less to go wrong. There's so much friction on the ledge that like if you get in it all weird or stick, the board like either shoots out that way or there's just way more sticking that happens. It's just a lot harder to get a consistent slide. So if you can get into back nose blunts, I suggest trying them on flat bars. Might be a little scarier because you don't have the like safety of just stepping on the ledge or having this wide surface. As far as back nose blunts go, for me, doing them on a flat bar is easier than a ledge, which is weird because I do them more often on a ledge, but I think that's just because I skate ledges more than flat bars. I don't know. But now I kind of want to end it off on something random, something a little harder, and something I don't know if I've ever even done. I want to do a front blunt big spin. I figured I do like kickflip back nose blunts all the time, and like, not all the time, but more often, like you've seen them. But like, I don't think I remember doing a front blunt big spin. So I feel like that's more fun for me and a little more random for you guys. So let's get it. I hope it doesn't give me like flip out trouble. I feel like trying to spin the front blunt out, it might flip a lot, and I don't want that to happen. Not too bad of a first try. It kind of looked like it wanted to flip. That one's stuck completely. Oh, it flipped. That one I thought I was gonna kind of land it or try to, and it flipped primo a little bit. Ah, dude. See, like there's something about the way that it catches the edge. I don't get it. Like the way that I'm scooping right here is what's flipping, which is actually not kickflip way, but if I just try to flip it, it might be better. No. To be honest though, I don't know if I've ever done this either on a ledge. Front blunt backside flip. I feel like I probably did, but I can't recall. It's been years if I have. Ah. Damn it, dude, like flopped out. Ah, thinking kickflip too fast. I have to remember to do like front blunt toe fakie, and then as I'm doing the toe fakie, then flick. Ah. Ah, I like how the sun comes out, like right as I'm exerting a lot of energy, you know? Like, it would have been nice if it stayed shady all day. That would have been ideal. Oh man, it's a little inconsistent to where I don't know I'm gonna get like a good one, you know? So I'm not like 100% there, like committing in my head. And then it happens, I'm like, fuck, I should have committed. But if I get like a couple of those in a row, then maybe I'll like be ready. Oh, shade's coming back, let's go. Oh, shade had me hyped right there. I mean, shit, it was like a little bit weird, but I mean, I'll take it, dude. Made me work for that one a little bit. Once I figured out that I really had to do front blunt to fakie first and not think about the kickflip, it started to come, but that was still way harder than I thought it was gonna be. I hope you guys find this video helpful. I hope that my explanations can help you get your blunt slides down. That's kind of the purpose. And again, like I said in the beginning of the video, definitely like use my techniques and what I say, but apply it for yourself. You know, it's not gonna be 100% accurate on how you should do the trick. Everyone has like personal preference on foot setups and different things, the way that their body works. So just take what you can from what I gave you today and then like work it into your skating and your style. Tap it in the comments below and let me know what keys video you would want to see next, what you guys need help on, what tricks you want to learn, what style of skating you think I should dive into and try and help you guys out with. Because I'm going to try and get back on a regular schedule of making these keys videos along with the session videos with the homies and stuff like that. I really appreciate you guys watching the channel, subscribing, liking, all that stuff. I mean, it means a lot to me. And just over this past year, how much the channel has grown, I love it. And it's all you guys, man. Thank you. Like, I'm going to keep making the videos, like I said in the beginning, as long as you guys keep watching them. And that's the way it's going, and I'm enjoying it. It gets me out, it gets me motivated. I hope these videos help you, man. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace, yo.